Hey y'all, welcome back to Bookshelf of Opinions. I'm Elizabeth,
And I'm Hannah.
and this is episode 8.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us. It's Christmas time. I feel like I need to. I mean, obviously, you'll be
It's
listening to this
December.
in Christmas. Yes. Hannah, what have you been reading?
What have I been reading? I have been reading so since the last episode, I finished why can't I think of the 7-Year Slip?
And did you love it?
It was so good.
It's
It was
precious.
so good. And the Dead
The
Romantics.
nicknames in it. The nicknames.
All of it was just I don't
It feels so. It just feels warm.
it feels like going home in a way.
Yes.
Obviously there's nothing about it is home necessarily. It's just so perfect and
Yes.
wholesome, and I really want it, and I called it.
You
I
did.
just want to say I called it. And then I read The Dead Romantics, technically during, but also after, before 7-Year Slip, and that was also just I didn't like it as much as 7-Year Slip, but it was still good.
I can understand that. To me, personality-wise, 7-Year Slip is more you. Dead Romantics
Is
is
more
more me.
I
But
100%
I
see that.
love them both.
I loved what I liked about I didn't like, I called it. What it confused me at first in The Dead Romantics about like how this is going to work, because I know they're going to have a happily ever after. I just didn't know what it was going to be. And then like halfway through, when I realized that she couldn't see the one person that we would have expected her to see at some point, I was like, oh, okay, I know exactly what this is. Okay, like I'm ready for this to get over. Like, how are we going to resolve this now?
Gotcha.
I'm trying to be very vague because
Yeah.
I feel like I need people
And
to
so
read
now
it.
you have a novel love story to read next.
I do have a novel love story. I'm in the middle of Hellbent. However, work and finishing the semester, because like at work I feel weird like whipping out a book that says Hellbent on the cover and
'cause you
has
have
a
the
dead
paper.
rabbit, because I have the paperback and I have like middle schoolers watching me read, and I'm like, this just doesn't.
How far are you into Hellbent?
I'm on like chapter 4 maybe. Like I'm very still early, but I'll have most of the weekend and next week obviously to read, because I'm about to have zero work to do for a month. So
Hellbent is something else.
I'm excited for it so far. Like it has me already more intrigued and wrapped into it than Ninth House did. So yeah. What about you? What have you been reading?
Okay, so last episode I finished Skyshade.
Yeah, you did.
Was not expecting that ending, but it made sense.
But
And
it's
and I definitely was not into the book, and then I texted Hannah and I said, I feel like Skyshade is kind of like Akamath
yeah.
in a
I could for
different,
sure see her getting her inspiration from
yeah,
ACOTAR.
which is fine. It just kind of felt like a repeat of things.
But
It
it still
didn't.
felt, because the character traits were still unique.
Yes, and like Aura's not Tamlin. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it still was like,
But
but I
similar
definitely did. I
vibes.
did get into it at the very end. I was very confused, I'll say.
There
Um,
was a lot happening, a lot of back and forth.
and like this girl, like make up your mind on who you love.
But it's hard if you've
I feel
spent.
like she kind of came to a resolution though.
I feel like she did. I feel like she decided to try it again. You know?
Yeah.
Now that she knew the full story, she's like, well, I have to give this an equal chance as I did this other thing.
Yes.
Or this other person.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like love triangles are just all the rage. But they're not love triangles. They're
No.
like love V's. I don't know
Yeah.
the proper way to say that.
Yes.
Because it's not like the men are connected. It's
No.
them both liking the same girl and her liking both of them. Because I feel like we see that. Obviously, we see it in ACOTAR a little bit.
We see in Powerless.
We see it in Powerless. We see it in
so
Red.
much.
It's in Red Queen. Like all throughout, I feel like it's just like, let's have two love interests and let her have a long time figuring it out, even though we know who she's probably gonna.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that I don't know who she's gonna end up with.
I really don't either.
I could see when she gets to the other world eventually. We don't know if she's going to the other world. Sorry, spoiler alert. Yikes. Finding a way for her to and her life to no longer rely on her husband's. I'm trying to be vague, but like if you read it,
yeah.
And then him somehow, because she has his power, finding a way of somehow, I feel like he would sacrifice himself if it meant she got to live.
Okay, and that is the only way I would be okay if she ended up.
And then that's how she ends up with the other one.
That is the only way I would be okay if she ended up with the other one.
Because I don't think I don't think she'd let the other one sacrifice himself, but I think she'd let her husband sacrifice himself.
Which says something, but I don't know what it
But my
says.
guess is he'd also see it as a repentance for all the violence he's caused.
Yes. Oh, Hannah, I don't like that because that sounds too accurate.
But I don't think she's gonna do that, but I'd be so okay if she did. Like, I've never been a theorist in books like this.
Oh, I am.
But now I'm like, hold on.
Okay, well, I finished that, and then I read a kind of like a self-published book by some girl I saw on Instagram.
Okay.
Her name's like Laura Sincotti or whatever, and it was called Picking Daisies on a Sunday, and it was a cute little romance, like childhood best friends, and then you're in love with your
Aw.
best friend that they don't know, and then you meet, and it was cute. It was just the writing felt a little bit
Mm.
meh, but it was cute.
But it was cute,
It was
wholesome, what you needed.
very cute. So now I'm reading because I'm not consistent.
Obviously.
I'm reading a horror called The Only One Left by Riley Sager, which is
Of course
well
you are.
known for his thrillers and horror. Completely inconsistent. And then once I finish this, it's Christmas books from here on out.
I can't get into Christmas books this season.
Don't say that.
I'm trying, because there's the one by Megan Quinn,
Yes.
and I'm just struggling. You know what book or author's book I am excited for is, I say that, she doesn't have any books out. Hold on. It's the girl I keep sending you on TikTok. That's writing her own, that's currently in the process of writing a book.
Oh, and what the letters?
Yes.
Yes.
So her name is Taryn Christine, and she is currently writing a book about a girl who spends years writing a journal dedicated to the man she will one day marry, and then the boy who finds her journal falls for her through her words. And so it's like some coming of age, because they're like college age based off of what I
Yes.
keep seeing. It feels very like Lauren Roberts, the way she keeps posting,
Yeah.
even though it's already written and now it's like in the process of her getting I don't know. I'm just very excited for
I'm
it.
excited for that too.
Sorry, that's
What
just
is her name?
Taryn Christine. I follow her. I'll send you
Okay,
her
send
profile
me to-
because
yeah.
I'm so excited
I'm
for her work,
excited for that too.
and I keep hyping her up. Like, I will comment on every single post.
Aw.
Like, 'cause I'm like, get her attention so we can get this book on shelves
That's how
quicker,
I felt about
please.
Lauren Roberts. I comment on everything for the
Yes.
longest time.
It's just, it makes me excited. Even if the writing's trash and the story
Yeah.
is super predictable, I'm like, but it also just seems so wholesome and
It
like
does, yeah.
needed.
Yeah. What have you been listening to?
Oh yeah. Well, if we were to check like we need to talk about our Spotify Wraps.
Oh yeah, I guess
we don't have to, but sorry.
I feel like that was such a long time
It
ago.
was, but it was really only like a week ago, barely. Anyways, I have been listening to on repeat the Elf main title.
Interesting.
That's what I play for my students. I played it probably 150 to 200 times today. It's 1 minute and 58 seconds long. I played it for a solid 5 hours.
Dang.
Yeah, it's a good thing Spotify Wrapped has already happened, because that would seriously sway. This is like the 3rd day I've done that. But then That's So True by Gracie Abrams and The Black Dog by Taylor Swift.
Huh.
The Black Dog, because I'm trying to learn it on piano, which I already know it now, but like, so I keep listening it to make sure I'm playing it right. But then That's So True, just, I don't know. It just keeps popping back up of like, let me go scream it real quick. And
Interesting.
Small Talk by Niall Horan. I don't know what any of that means. No Christmas music, I
No
guess.
small
But
talk.
it's okay.
Nice.
Anyways, what have you been listening to?
Okay, so I had them in my head before we sat down, and now I can't remember any of them.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. So I've been listening to "Sweet Disposition." I don't know who sings it, but it's a fantastic song.
Okay.
"Nothing's Gonna Hurt You, Baby" by Cigarettes After Sex. It is such a good song.
No, I'm just more trying to think of like the genres of music and if if they're related or not.
They're sad, like little romance songs.
Fits the bill.
and then Home Alone 2, comma 2, like TOO. And this
I
song,
thought you were also going to be going for a Christmas movie
No.
soundtrack with me. I was like, yes.
this song plays in Dash and Lily, and it's like I'm gonna play it.
I was going to say, I was like, if it's in Dash and Lily, then I'll know. I love that.
I love
okay,
it. I started the first episode.
I need to start my rewatch. You know what I didn't realize? That Dash, or the actor who plays Dash, is in This Is Us.
Yes,
I
he
didn't know.
plays the awful boyfriend.
Yes, because I'm just now rewatching This Is Us, and like probably watching it for the first time all the way through.
Oh, okay.
And
Milo Ventimiglia,
oh my
Jack
god,
Pearson is like the
I
best
love
TV
him.
character I've ever seen
I got
ever.
scared when I figured out they killed him off. I'm like, they're just gonna stop showing him for some reason, and then he's obviously still there. And I'm
There's
just
I love their whole
their
dynamic.
story just makes me so happy, even though
Yeah.
it's so sad. Everything about it is just so good.
Hold on, give me a moment.
Oh, of course. Oh, I do know what you're talking about because that's also one of the themes of the thing is, are you going to be home alone? Are you going to something? Remember, you know, are
Yeah.
you going to be home alone too,
Yeah.
or something?
My sister's asking for outfit ideas.
Oh, so real.
Okay.
I say I'm going to start singing Small Talk, so that feels like not something I should sing on a podcast.
I'm trying to. I'm sorry.
And I saw you in your photograph. Seems you're having so much fun.
Just wait for the chorus. That's what we're gonna wait for.
You don't belong to me. How I hate this time of year. It's dark and it's cold, and I feel I'm getting older. And I wonder, are you watching Home Alone 2? Are you watching?
Which is interesting is that the first time it says Home Alone 2, it's Home Alone, comma, TOO, and the second time it says, are you watching Home Alone 2, like the movie 2. Like Home Alone 2,
A little bit
you
of
know?
lyricism. Like, are
Yes,
you watching
anyways.
Home Alone 2?
It's a
Now, are you
really
watching
sad, but it's just a
Yeah.
Christmas song that's been stuck in my head.
You have a lot of sad Christmas song choices.
I like slow Christmas songs, though.
Whereas I'm like, give me all the upbeat Christmas
But
songs.
I love
please.
all Christmas songs, though.
Sad Christmas songs just make me sad.
I know, but like,
You know me, I don't do emotions like that. I can't be sad. Well, what do you have, Elizabeth?
oh yes, okay.
I was
So
like, unless we want to get philosophical first.
no,
in
me
which
and
case-
Hannah are gonna play a quiz.
Wait, are
but-
you gonna know the answers to this quiz?
No, because it's on Spark Notes.
Okay,
So like
I
it's
was
an
like,
actual
man.
quiz. So we both it's. Can we guess the book from a bad one sentence summary?
Okay, so it's a bad one sentence summary. I was
Okay.
expecting it to be like a quote for some reason.
No.
Also, a girl in one of my classes today, so she's reading The Heroes of Olympus, and she gave a summary to another one of the students about what it was about, and like the way she described it, and he was like, "So what do you think the main theme is?" She was like, "I don't know, don't fall into Tartarus, don't die." And I was like,
No.
This 7th grade girl, we got to work on this.
I'm kind of getting a little bit nostalgic of Percy Jackson because it came out around this time last year, and so I really just want to rewatch it.
I want to reread the books.
I
don't know
do
if I have the
too.
patience for that, but I want to so
Me
bad.
too. Okay, I'm afraid
Okay.
we're gonna be really bad at this. And it's
I
gonna
know we will. Sorry, I know I will.
I will, and I'm afraid it's gonna be very humbling. Okay, first one: a man gets a promotion for committing murder. These are our choices: A Separate Piece,
Oh, it gives us choices.
To Kill a Mockingbird, 1984, Macbeth, or The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It's not To Kill a Mockingbird,
It's
is it?
not To Kill a Mockingbird, I don't think.
Is it Macbeth? No. I read that.
No.
I read that. I recited
It
lines.
honestly feels like it. I don't feel like it's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
No, I don't know what 1984 and The Separate Piece is.
Let's go the separate piece.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay.
Does it tell us if
It was Macbeth. What?
Elizabeth, you were the one who was supposed to know that.
How am I supposed to know that?
You read it.
Okay.
I think I have To Kill a Mockingbird on my shelf, actually.
Two ugly people learn how to love. Okay, our options are Great Expectations, A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Oh, my phone is glitched. The Metamorphosis, Frankenstein, Jane Eyre.
I was gonna say Midsummer's Night's Dream.
I
don't know.
I think that makes sense, right?
But it feels like weird that they're doing a lot of Shakespeare.
Yeah.
That's what makes sense. That's what stands out to me the most.
It wouldn't be Jane Eyre.
What were the other options?
Frankenstein, Metamorphosis, and Great Expectations.
I don't think it'd be Frankenstein. I could see it being Metamorphosis. I haven't read it, but just based off the title.
Yeah.
I don't know. You decide. Metamorphosis or Midsummer?
I don't.
Midsummer.
Okay. It was Jane Eyre.
Oh, perfect. Another one that I'm pretty sure you've read.
Yeah.
Cute.
Have
This
you
is
not
really
read Jane Eyre?
No.
Hannah.
Do I look like a girl who reads the classics unless it was assigned in school? No, thank you.
Oh my.
Minus, I've read some Jane Austen. I realize I say that. I can take that back. I have read some of hers.
A woman. I don't know if I want to get this because we're so bad at this.
Let's keep going. I'm here for
A
it.
woman goes on a dangerous mission to avenge her son after he is murdered by a serial killer.
Cute.
Option 1, Beowulf. I did read that. Option 2, In Cold Blood. Option 3, Hamlet. I did read that. Option 4, Emma. Did read that. Option 5, Tessa of the whatever.
I don't think it's Hamlet. Or sorry, no, I don't think it's the one before the second to last one.
Emma.
I don't think it's Emma. I don't feel like it's Hamlet.
I'm trying to think.
I haven't read Hamlet since I was 16.
I don't think it's Hamlet.
I don't think it's Hamlet either. I don't know. The last one feels right based off the title, but like that doesn't mean anything. These are really bad summaries, so they're not supposed to be based off the title.
I just went ahead and did Beowulf and it was correct because that's what I thought.
Oh, well then there you go.
Because I did read that and I got it right.
Elizabeth, you've also read books from the last 2 questions and we got them wrong.
Well, you also have been... Okay.
I can tell you what it's not.
Next one. A bunch of young choir boys. Also, guys, I have a sinus. I'm sorry. I feel like I have to paraphrase. I have sinuses going on.
Not paraphrase?
Paraphrase.
Explain?
Explain. Gosh, I cannot speak.
Sinuses mess with your brain like that too?
Okay. Next one. A bunch of young choir boys set fire to things unsupervised. First option, Fahrenheit 451. I have not read that, but I don't wait. I know what it is. Have I read it? I don't know. I'm going to stop saying what I've read because that's embarrassing. A Clockwork Orange, Lord of the Flies, Gulliver's Travels, and Alice in Wonderland.
It's not the last 2.
No. I think it's
the third one.
Lord of the Flies.
It's not Lord of the Flies.
That's what I think it is.
Oh, then let's go Lord of the Flies.
We were correct.
Yeah!
Okay. Ghosts haunt a rich man until he feels bad about himself.
I think it's A Christmas Carol.
Our options are Wuthering Heights. Have you read that?
I actually don't know.
Okay, I have. A Christmas Carol.
I think it's A Christmas Carol.
The Old Man and the Sea. And there's only 3 options.
I think it's A Christmas Carol.
As I Lay Dying. Oh no, what happened to my phone?
I'm still keeping with my vote if I haven't said it multiple times.
I know, but hold on. My phone, it glitched. So hold on.
Oh, no.
Give me a moment.
We shall give you a moment. Yeah, no, I really didn't read in school. Even they didn't force us, or not force us. My teachers were very flexible and let us read whatever was on our reading level. And so I didn't have to read. The most classic I chose to read was A Tale of Two Cities, my 8th grade year.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was educated to read classical literature.
Yeah, I was educated to read modern lit.
All right. It was A Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. A woman must find a loophole in the legal system to save her husband's best friend. To Kill a Mockingbird, A Tale of Two Cities, Emma, Of Mice and Men, and The Merchant of Venice.
It's not Of Mice and Men. I have read that.
Yeah, it's not. It's A Tale of Two Cities.
I don't know. It's not a tale. I don't think it's A Tale of Two Cities. Like I said, I read this in 8th grade. That's now 8 years ago.
Is it Emma?
I haven't read Emma, I don't think, all the way through. What was the first option?
To Kill a Mockingbird. It's not that.
It's not that. I don't know. What was the poor summary?
Again? A woman must find a loophole in the legal system to save her husband's best friend.
I don't know. I could see it being A Tale of Two Cities. Because they're trying to get from one city to they're trying to get from London to Paris or something, and there's issues.
Should we just go?
Let's go for it.
It was The Merchant of Venice.
Perfect. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Okay.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've never read it.
An old, misshapen man uses a disguise to find out who his wife cheated on him with.
Okay.
Okay. Othello, Anna Karenina, which is not that, I don't think. Madame Bovary, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then The Scarlet Letter.
I don't think it's The Scarlet Letter.
I read that.
It wouldn't be The Hunch. What do you think it is?
I don't think it's a Hunchback.
It's not Hunchback. What? And you say it's not Anna Karenina?
I don't think it is.
What's the other two options?
Othello, and then Madame Bovary.
Let's go Madame Bovary.
I think it's The Scarlet Letter.
You think it's The Scarlet Letter? Then go for it. You've read it. I haven't.
It is The Scarlet Letter.
There you go. At first, it was giving me Cyrano vibes when you first started reading it, and so I was very like...
No, that makes sense because she has a Scarlet Letter.
No, well, there you
So,
go.
anyways. Okay, a bunch of people go on a road trip to destroy a priceless object. I know what this is without having to read the options. The Canterbury Tales, I have read that. The Iliad, I've read that. Lord of the Rings, I've read that. The Decameron, and then Heart of Darkness. It's Lord of the Rings.
I was going to say, based off of that, I would have guessed Lord of the Rings.
Yep. Okay, a father sets up his daughter with some rich kid, then throws his favorite book in the water. Okay.
Tell me why I thought at first it was going to be like Princess Bride. I know it's not, but that's why I was like, oh.
The Tempest, The Odyssey, Les Mis.
Hold on, say that one again. Les Mis.
Hannah,
I'm sorry.
you can read them if you want to
But
read
you
them.
know what Les Mis is.
I know. Romeo and Juliet and Sense and Sensibility.
I feel like it's Sense and Sensibility. Or is it Les Mis?
I think it's, I don't know.
It's not Romeo and Juliet.
No, it's not The Odyssey. I think it's Sense and Sensibility.
I feel like it's Sense and Sensibility more than Les Mis, but...
The Tempest.
The Tempest. Perfect. Neither
Yeah.
one were things I was thinking.
A traveling salesman becomes a financial burden on his family. The Metamorphosis. The Grapes of Wrath. The Catcher in the Rye. 1984 Oliver Twist.
I don't think it's Oliver Twist.
I don't know what it is.
That's the only one I'm going to say it's not. I don't think it's The Catcher in the Rye either. I truly have no idea.
Metamorphosis.
Ooh, cute.
Okay. A war hero cheats on his wife and loses everything.
1984.
The options are The Great Gatsby, King Lear, The Odyssey, Don Quixote, I don't know, in Animal Farm. I think it's The Odyssey.
Let's go for it.
Yes, I love The Odyssey, so.
I haven't read that since freshman year of high school.
A man, it says entertaining. We only have 3 questions left.
Let's go. Let's finish the last 3
Okay.
questions.
A man has a midlife crisis in his early 20s, and several people die as a result.
Amen.
The Catcher in the Rye, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Dr. Photosis, Wuthering Heights, Twelfth Night.
I have no idea.
I don't either.
The doctor one.
I think it's the Picture of Dorian Gray, from what I remember.
Then go for it.
We were right.
Yeah, we were. I claim it.
Ben Barnes plays him in the movie version. So
Well, now I'll be watching the movie.
Okay. 2 men play a friendly game. It takes over a year for one of them to lose. The options are Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I have read that. Oedipus Rex. I have read that. I read that in high school. The Slaughterhouse Five, Julius Caesar, and Moby Dick.
I don't think it's Moby Dick. Or
No,
Julius Caesar, from what I can remember.
I don't think it is.
I read Julius Caesar my sophomore year of high school.
Interesting. I think it's Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, from what I remember.
Go for it.
We were right. Oh
Yeah,
my
we
gosh.
were.
My school, and you were dogging on me for reading classic literature.
I wasn't dogging on you for reading it. It's just we have different educations.
Okay. An escaped convict kidnaps a child and keeps her locked up for several years.
Rapunzel.
Alice in Wonderland, Les Mis, Great Expectations, The Iliad, Wuthering Heights.
It's not the first 2.
I think it's Wuthering Heights.
Go forth.
No, it was Les Mis.
I only know the musical and only the part the can you hear the people singing the song of angry men. I only know that from elementary school music class because we watched that clip multiple times. I loved it.
Interesting. Okay, a young
Oh, we're
social.
still going?
This is the last one. A young socialite begins to suspect that her boyfriend's father killed his wife.
Hold on. A young socialite
Begins to
suspect that her
boyfriend's
father
killed his wife. So
killed his wife.
Killed the boyfriend's mom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sense and Sensibility, The Crucible, Richard III, The Awakening, Northanger Abbey.
It's obviously The Crucible. It's not The Crucible. I really don't know. I'm going to go with the last one.
You're right.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, we got 10 out of 15.
That's not that bad, considering you probably got 9 out of 10. I got the last one. I'll claim it. Well, I knew A Christmas Carol.
If these were books that we like,
yeah, if these were books
currently read
2000 on, we crush it.
But I mean, these are a lot of the books I read in high school, so that says
I have a public school education.
That is so funny.
Wow. Well, I mean, kind of keeping with books, we're gonna move into what I like, which is philosophy. I don't know. That didn't feel like a good transition. I was just, oops. God bless ChatGPT. It really, I'm looking at everything I've used ChatGPT for, and just the past 7 days alone, I've used it for 5 different things. Mind you, I finished all my assignments on Sunday, so I've been using it for a lot of things. Anyways, Soul, Judgment, and Death is what I last used it for.
Wow.
So I'm curious, or not I'm curious, both of us can talk about this. What makes a story timeless? Which I feel like we talked about a lot of different stories that obviously have stood the test of time already in guessing.
I think, like, if the plot is super unique, but here's the thing, like, ACOTAR initially is kind of like a Beauty and the Beast telling, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not a whole new, like, genre or plot. But I think a lot of it is if you feel the representation or the emotional connection to the characters. Like, I think that's what makes it. Like, with Little Women, I represent with each sister in a totally different way. So that's why I feel like it's, it makes sense to me. You know, like, that's why I feel like timeless. With, like, Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, but it's something that I feel like grows with you, because you have, like, the child, like, simplified versions of, like, Beauty and the Beast, Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland, but then, like, as you grow, you get to read, like, the more in-depth stories and actually, like, see the growth of the characters and, like, how it relates to you, and you get to grow up with the, like, the, from simplified to.
And same with Pride and Prejudice. Like, it's that same, I don't know. To me, that's like, what makes it timeless.
The theme of it, like, just stays consistent.
And I also think if the world building is so detailed that, like, it feels like home. Like, you know, like, I crave like, I miss reading certain books so much because I miss the atmosphere. Like, in Happy Place, I miss Knott's Harbor, you know, even though I've never been there, but I miss the feel, you know, so I think it's, you know what I'm talking about? I know exactly
what you're talking about. I also miss Maine.
But even, like, in like, Powerless, like, I miss that atmosphere, but I'm not there, but my mind, you know?
Yeah, so it's more like the homesickness for where you were.
I feel like someone could take that out of context and be like, she's insane.
No, but, like, I don't know. So, like, the difference for me is I don't know if that's what makes them timeless. I guess we don't know if they're timeless yet because they're so new.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's also the thing. I feel like it can't be, like, too niche. Yeah. Or, like, a hyperfixation of the time.
With Little Women, I miss it. Like, I miss that setting.
But I don't feel like, but also Little Women is an old, you don't miss it, you said?
No, I do miss it.
I say Little Women's also been a,
I'm saying what you're talking about, like, we can't figure it out because they're new. Well, I'm saying with, like, the atmosphere.
But you see what the old,
and the atmosphere is Pride and Prejudice. I miss it, you know?
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I'll be curious to see which of the books we read now, like, truly become, like, the timeless and 20 years they're reading them, or because I don't know. There's some books that I'm like, oh, we for sure would not read this and study it in a class at school, but at the same time, I'm like, but what means we won't read it and study it for the deeper meanings? And they're not reading ACOTAR in school, but I don't know.
But it's the same with, like, well, Lord of the Rings, I don't know, people don't read that in school. I mean, we read The Hobbit in school, and then, like, Narnia, you read those first couple of books in school.
None of the school in which I went to read those. We read Of Mice and Men, some read Night, The Outsiders.
I read The Outsiders, not for school, but
I
just for
didn't.
fun.
I didn't read The Outsiders for school. I read, what did I read that year? Oh, Alice in Wonderland. We do a lot of Shakespeare, but like the not basic Shakespeare, but like Julius Caesar, Romeo and Juliet. I can't remember what we did junior year. Maybe it was Macbeth.
We did for Shakespeare, we did Hamlet, Taming of the Shrew, Julius Caesar, Macbeth, and there's one other I'm missing.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I say that like I'm gonna know, but yeah, I'll be curious what it is.
Me
that,
too.
like, makes the standout of.
Yeah.
But kind of in the same vein though of like missing and homesickness. Should a book reflect like our reality or show us a new reality? Like, should you look into it and be like, oh, that's exactly what I'm going through. I see myself the entire way through, or oh, I have no idea what this is. Like, I know I know what it's talking about, but it's like drawing me in a new way or showing, you know?
I think it could be both.
Like, should it be a reflection or a new story or a new understanding?
I think it's circumstantial. So I think if it's a reflection, like it can't be like to me, I see how I was telling you about that part in Happy Place. Like I feel seeing that reflection of like feeling like, oh, I'm too much to handle, too much to love, and all that stuff. Sorry, just randomly gonna say this out here. But I also need to make sure like I know the lines of fiction and reality of like that's not my life. Like I can't live my life like it is in Happy Place because it's not.
I would say it's not your life, but it also what I like of it is it shows you at least in a way how it comes out on the other side once you figure out how you want to work through those things of, oh, I see this character going through the exact same things as me, but how can I like push through it?
Yeah.
Obviously not in the exact same way because it's also going to differ a little bit or a lot of it because it's fiction versus reality, but
yeah,
of how we get.
But there are some things like some books as like I'd never experiencing those things, but it is like it opened like for example like The Fault in Our Stars. I'll say like I know it's kind of a basic book, but like I haven't experienced my boyfriend dying, but it is like one of those experiences that's like I don't know what that's like, but it is it's not refreshing because that's really sad, but it's interesting. Eye-opening. Eye-opening to be in that situation, or to read from that point of view and how you
for a change of pace of resets your reality in
a way. It makes you start to think about what what could, and what could happen and stuff. So yeah,
because I think that's the cool thing of books of like, I don't know, we get to see a different world from them because each author writes from a different, even if it's fantasy.
Yes,
like the author's still coming from a different perspective, and you can see it in each of their characters how they're wanting to portray a certain
and
aspect
allow you to live
reality.
multiple lives, like experience multiple things that you're not going to experience.
Yeah, I guess that kind of ties into like why we read of using it.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like it started as a reason for escape. Of like, oh, it's the same way of like watching TV or scrolling on social media for hours on end. It's just let me get out of what reality is holding.
And to me personally, it feels more in depth because like you have to make it up yourself. Like you have to imagine it yourself.
Yes. And now it feels like it's still that escapism, but it's also turned into the like reading deeper meanings.
Yeah.
That probably aren't there in the like way we read into Emily Henry stuff. I just keep using her.
I know the amount of times I've already referenced a Happy Place.
Or like reading Book Lovers and then like feeling like, oh, I see myself as the workaholic.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, well, what does she get? Like, kind of, I guess we've already kind of talked about it of like the mirror to reality.
Yeah.
But finding the answers of, well, someone's written this, which means somehow they have an idea, or their idea has because someone else has had this problem, and so either way they're like, like when you go into like, why can't I think of the words, like picturing when you're like daydreaming and you're like planning out scenarios, like far in advance and you're like, okay, this is how everything's going to go down perfectly. I was like, I feel like that's like what reading is it's giving you your daydreams of like, this is how everything's going to go down perfectly.
Yeah.
And then, but also it's not going to go down exactly like you wrote because it's still supposed to like portray real life.
It's kind of letting you indulge in these unrealistic things to see, I don't know.
Yeah. But it lets you dip your toe into
Yeah.
what an ideal world could be.
Yes.
If everything went exactly to script.
Yes.
But then also factoring in they're writing in things that are meant to make you be like, no, this isn't supposed to how it's going. It's supposed to be like this.
Bro, you
there
need to
shouldn't
read
be a third act breakup.
You need to read a novel love story then. This is exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, perfect. That's my after Hellbent, I think. Like little refresh.
That very much goes with this conversation. Oh god.
You know me. I've fully taken into the idea that my TBR is not meant to be like just consumed how I want, but it is meant to just sit there, and it's like a wine cellar. I pull it out at the right time when I need it.
Yeah.
And it has done me quite well with that mentality.
That's good.
It's also made me less like, let me consume all my books as quickly as I can, even though I very much still want to do that.
Yeah.
All right. The last philosophical question I have is the nature of good and evil in literature. Sorry, my cousin just texted me and I'm very perplexed. Of like how the lines between heroism and heroism, however you're supposed to say it, heroes and villains kind of like blur, which I feel like we have a lot of in fantasy terms.
Can you please say the question again?
How do books define or blur the lines between heroes and villains, or heroism and villainy? Like Grimm. We're supposed to think he's the villain. He ends up becoming the hero. Tamlin, we're supposed to think he's the hero. He ends up becoming the villain.
Yeah.
Kai and Kit are a mix of the heroes and the villains the entire time. Of like, how do books begin to blur the line of like, because morally gray has become such a thing of like, well, like the literal song of he's morally gray, what can I say?
Yeah.
Gray's my favorite. That whole thing of like, okay, it's like I can excuse murder, but I draw the line.
Yes.
At not opening my car door. Like, wait, you can excuse murder?
Yeah.
That whole thing of like, how has it blurred that line? Which I guess like that's a whole bunch of examples. Or has it blurred that line for you? Like, can you still see the difference between heroes and villains clearly?
I can, but I think I'm more easily able to justify the villain. Oftentimes because the villain in the beginning is the actual hero. You know what I'm saying? The misunderstood hero. And I think that's a fault that I fall for because sometimes that's not actually the truth. That's why I'm afraid like, oh, is like Lightlark gonna be like that?
Yeah.
But I tend to do that. But oftentimes that's the way it goes. It's a popular trope. But it is like, I'm like, oh, well, it's because he has a reason to feel. Just because you have all this trouble doesn't mean you actually have to. Like, that's how we're taught in life. Like, just because we are hurt does not mean we have to hurt other people.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I agree. Because it's the hard thing of like, oh, it happens in a book, so it's totally okay. And I'd be so okay if all of this, like, that happens in a book happened in real life. But then I'm like, no, wait. If I went on a date with somebody and he's like, by the way, I murdered like 100 people before I met you, and I'm going to keep murdering people, and I've joined our lives together. So if you die, I die, and this whole island goes down with us, I'd be like,
yeah,
back up. I did not agree to any of this. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, it's like Kaz Brekker. Like, he is not supposed to be a good character.
But we fall in love with all of his faults. That build him into a good character.
Yeah, because we
character.
But I think a lot of the reason why is because we are seeing all of their internal thoughts. When it's in real life, you can't read other people's brains. Like, you're not reading what's happening.
Oh, that's
so
terrifying.
Like we are seeing the inner workings of their head, and we're like, yeah, so that makes sense, and that's not realistic, which is unfortunate, but it's probably a good thing and stuff. But yeah, but I totally like Kaz doing all this horrible things. I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to be doing that. Go get Inej back. Like, you are right. But I'm like, realistically, you shouldn't be kidnapping Pekka Rollins' son, you know?
I guess it's like, oh my gosh, why can't I think of their names now? Also, Six of Crows, Nina and Matthias. of like how she sees him as the villain,
Mm-hmm.
ends up thinking he's her hero in a way, and then he gets re-villainized to be the hero again.
Yes.
Of like, which that's even the internal diet. Like, obviously, we know their inner thoughts, but then seeing it on paper of someone being like, "No, I know you're the villain. Okay, but actually, wait, now you're kind of my hero and protector.
Yeah.
You're still the villain who wants to kill me. Okay, wait, now I'm gonna mourn your
And it's
death."
the whole thing of like, I know I shouldn't love you. You're the bad guy, but I can't. But if loving you makes me wrong, then I'll be wrong. Which is like,
Yeah,
that's not how we should live
that's
our
not
life. Like, that's
healthy.
not good.
But then at the same time, I feel like media, this now goes outside of books,
Yeah.
has like sent in a way like made us want to fall for the not good people.
Oh, yes.
Of like, we see the documentaries that like Netflix and stuff does of serial
Oh,
killers.
no, I agree. The
And then they
Menendez
cast
brothers, like,
actors, and we're like, well, I mean, if they're this fine, like,
well, even
and there's reasoning behind what they did.
even not the actors, like the Menendez brothers, perfect example because they're of the charm and all of that stuff, and like they were attractive people, you
Yes.
know.
And then now people see their story and they're like, oh, well, I just feel bad
like,
for
oh,
them
I feel
because of
so
everything they
sad.
went
Yeah,
through. But
and like,
you still did something beyond. But
but
that's
but in the beginning of Ted Bundy's case, I mean, people were obsessed with him.
because he
Like,
had the old
he had the
charm
sex
and
factor of
charisma.
it, you know. I'm sorry, I don't know, but like, and people like wanted to like he married a fan or a news reporter, you know, and stuff. But it's because we romanticize them and we create these scenarios in our head. Which I mean, I can't be hypocritical because I create scenarios in my head
But
of
I feel like it's different when it's fictional to a real, like,
yeah,
who in, well, I say that, obviously we have examples of people because they're all over
yeah,
obsessing. I was going to say, who in like real life is going to be like, oh my gosh, let me now go marry this known serial killer.
yeah.
But like that's what you're just going to go casually do. I'm like,
You fall
how?
in love with the idea of people.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
fall in, I feel like women at least fall in love with the idea of, oh, I can fix them.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
When like you can't, if he can't change for himself, he's not going to change for you. Which is which is the example with everyone.
Yes.
You know, not just men, but
No,
like
but it's, if they're not going to change for themselves, then why? How can you expect them to change for you?
And if they do
maintain it?
change for you, then
They're not really wanting
you're
to
gonna get
change.
blamed when it gets hard.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they gotta be their own person before you gotta be your own person before you're in a relationship. I don't know how this turned into this.
I don't either, but please, Elizabeth, keep going.
I don't know. It's just what I was thinking. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that happens in real life, and it boggles. But like, even Anna Delvey being on Dancing with the Stars,
Don't get it. But then the hard thing is, people, I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay, but I mean, to me, that's where I'm like, that's insane.
But we're like making it okay that this white collar criminal
yeah,
can go, because I'm like, are you gonna let a murderer on there?
I mean, she
No.
stole thousands. Like,
I know that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
White collar crime is still crime. But it's
exactly.
like, how are we differentiating what level?
She
of
has a
crime is
freaking
okay?
ankle monitor. Like, I think no
At least
matter.
she's not going on tour. If she went on tour, I would.
I mean, yeah, she didn't kill anybody, but like that does not mean that she should not be what she, you know, like she's still living a glamorous life. Like that's not
Yeah.
fair.
But
Yeah.
also, more power to her. Like, if she gets to go get away with all of that and then still live her best life, what is our legal system?
Yeah. It's that was a very good question.
That was a very real to fantasy, real to fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Because realistically, like you're not going to be in a situation like even Rowan was kind of sent out to be the villain and stuff in a way, and it's like, no, let me now bound my life to yours after I just like smack talked you and said you were worthless. Like that's not like if something happened to me, I'd be like, whoa, buddy.
It's the way
No,
we're all
no.
romanticizing like enemies to lovers of like, oh well, someone loves all of your flaws and then sees all of your flaws and still loves you. And I'm like, yes, but like realistically, if I had, it depends on the context.
Well, like, and someone should love you for all that you are, but they shouldn't love what's wrong with you, but they should want you to become a better person.
What movie is it? Oh, it's the one with Glenn Powell and Zoe Deutsch.
Oh, yes,
Hating
the
Game?
Setup.
No, The Setup.
Setup. I love that one.
Is it The Setup? Yeah, it is. It's they're doing, it's the wedding scene at the like towards the first half kind of. or the engagement party, and they're talking, and it's like, I love you, and I like you because I love you in spite of.
Yes.
And I don't know why, like, that's like the okay mentality though. It's like, well, I like you because of all these good things that you are, but I love you in spite of all these bad things that you are.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes sense some days, and then other days I'm like, how does
Well,
this
and
even
even
work?
so, I started to try to finish Nobody Wants This because my mom had said she had watched it, and it's like me and her were talking about it, and I think it's a great show because I like Adam Brody, like, and
love Adam
I
Brody.
love his character.
That show is so good.
But
It's
in
scary.
the show, it is like, you know, she has all these things that's wrong with her, and she wants someone to love all of that, which someone should love all of her, but they shouldn't accept all of these. It shouldn't make all these things accept
Okay.
okay. It should be like, hey, you know, I love you and I see that you're going through all these things, but how can we together help each other? It shouldn't be like, I'm gonna love you and you can stay this crappy person. Not that she's
Yeah.
crappy, you know what I'm saying?
No, but you can keep all these poor
And so I think
qualities
that's
about
my
yourself that you even
yeah.
want fixed, and we're just gonna let you stay stagnant.
Yeah,
and
and so
never
that's
work
what I
on.
really recognized in that show, you know? And I think it was like, we're just kind of like, it's okay, you can still be an awful person, and I'm still gonna love you. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, like, you're not growing, you're staying stagnant, you know?
Mhm.
I don't want someone to be with me and be like, yeah, you suck and you get anxious and you think you're too much and you're just gonna stay that way because I love you. No, I want you to be like, hey, I'm gonna help you. Like,
Yeah.
we can mutually help each other, you know?
Mhm.
Because, like, what's like, that's not, I don't know. I don't know how this turned into such a relationship talk. Not
I don't
relationship,
either.
but it's interesting. So
It is very interesting. All of it is.
yeah,
Just, I don't know.
these were good questions.
They were. It's that philosophy and existentialism. You
Yeah.
know me and my philosophy. It's a joke. I had to take 2 philosophy courses begrudgingly to fulfill a minor requirement.
By the time
Anyways,
this comes out, Hannah will be a
college grad. Oh, technically, I won't be a
Yeah.
college grad when this comes out. I will be a college grad 14 hours. I've officially graduated 14 hours after this comes out.
Yay!
Basically, yeah. I've graduated.
It's so exciting.
It is.
I feel like we need to do a YouTube channel of us recording because I feel like people need to see our facial expressions and all the things that you do and I do. It's so
That
normal.
sounds so not right.
No, I
all
mean,
you're
like,
missing is me whenever I go. It's because I'm sticking my tongue out and most likely uncomfortably winking throughout the episode, or I'll make like pointed glares at Elizabeth because she'll say something and she'll be like, I don't know why we're talking about this, and I'll just be like, read my brain telepathically.
I'm just rolling my eyes half the time.
Yeah. We're so exciting.
We are.
But yeah. My lips are chapped. So with that, I don't know why that's what the conclusion is. But
Hannah's
now
gonna
I'm
go
like,
moisturize her lips.
no, now I'm like, I need my Aquaphor. Like, they just feel so dry. Okay, Miss Hacky.
So sorry.
Anyways,
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I feel like this was a book heavy
it was a
episode,
book heavy,
but it was not.
It wasn't just a talk heavy episode.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Not that it's obviously a podcast, so we talked the whole time. But this
Complete
just felt
silence.
like we should do that one episode. Is we should just be like, do our normal thing and be like, all right, guys, we have some very big stuff to discuss, and it's just
we need to do like an ASMR. Yeah. I always like. I don't really like ASMR, but I like the ones where they're like, "Now I'm cutting the hair," and you can hear the hair being cut with the scissors.
I just like the soft voice ASMR. That's why I loved scrolling and watching all of Angelina Jolie and Cynthia Erivo's videos, is because they're just so both.
They're so poised
and together, and Cynthia's voice of just
it's like soothing,
and Angelina, like the emphasis that she has on words, and even though her voice was a little bit like louder than Cynthia's, it was still just very calm. And I was like, this is just, this scratches an itch in my brain, and it's just, I could fall asleep to this right now.
I like all of the lineup for it. I feel like now I gotta talk.
I know.
I liked all the lineup for the Verity actors on actors. I'm excited for the Saoirse Ronan and Selena Gomez one.
Yes, I want to go back and watch their clips that have been posted so far.
Yeah,
I love Selena prepared notes, and Selena Gomez is engaged. Sorry,
super
that's a little
excited.
pop culture throw out.
Yeah, exciting.
That's like, that makes me feel old, even though like I know she's older than me and I don't know her personally, but
it's probably like a, oh, you're happy for this, you know?
Yes, it's like my childhood, like one of my childhood idols has like grown up, and I'm like, that means I'm grown too.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, she's what, 10 years older than us?
I think she's like 32, yeah.
Yeah, so 10 years for me.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, with that,
hope you enjoyed this episode.
and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Goodbye.